those 10 marks, 15 marks are very important in deciding your rank in the actual UPSC exam. So let's say कोई movement हो, स्वदेशी movement हो, revolutionary movement हो, quit India movement हो, 1857 revolt हो, तो यहाँ पे you can end your answer with consequence. I will be also teaching in the two programs, Nitya Pragati, Batch 3, where I'll have 40 sessions, including a lot of them on answer writing, where I'll try to make you mains ready by December end. In this also, I will have 20 lectures on answer writing, along with Write Smart, test, live evaluation. So you have aspects of mentorship, you have aspects of my lectures, and you have aspects of Write Smart in this course. Hello everyone. Now a lot of students have requested me over emails and Telegram that I should start a series where I should discuss the perfect way to write introduction and conclusion in various subjects, right? Because to be really honest, conclusion is the last thing which examiner sees before awarding the marks, right? Because see, if you have a average content and if you end your answer with a very, very unique conclusion, it definitely gives the right impression to the examiner, and you can add extra half marks to your marks tally, right? And then extra half marks becomes 10 marks, 15 marks. And those 10 marks, 15 marks are very important in deciding your rank in the actual UPSC exam, right? So if we talk about modern history, basically there are three types of questions that are asked. And for all these three types, there is a way, there is a template through which you can attempt the answer or you can write the conclusion. सबसे पहले, if the question is asked about any social movement, class movement, right? For example, let's say Raja Ram Mohan Roy, let's say Ambedkar, let's say Phule, let's say Brahma Samaj, let's say Indian National Social Congress. These are all social reform movements, right? Or let's say you have social or class-based movements. For example, tribal movement, peasant movement, right? Education policy, right? Workers movement. So these are all class-based movements that we have. And UPSC has repeatedly asked questions from social reform and class movement, right? For example, few years back, this question was asked by the UPSC. How did the colonial rule affect the tribals in India? And what was their response to the colonial oppression? So in this kind of question, the best way to conclude is by linking it up with post-independent Indian vision or contemporary India. For example, if a question is asked about education policy of UK, we can end our answer by linking it to Panch Pran, because one of the goals of Panch Pran is decolonizing the mind. And what did education policy of the British do? They tried to make us good, what we call as brown sahibs, right? So you can end with that you know, in recent years we are trying to decolonize the minds of the people through, you know, Panch Pran and all. ठीक है ना? Similarly, in this question, tribal response. So you can end your answer with, let's say, telling that thus these tribal revolts played, or they, you know, invoked the consciousness of our nationalist leaders, and therefore while framing constitution, special provisions were provided to tribal people in the form of 5th schedule, 6th schedule, affirmative actions, reservations, etc. So we are linking it up here, right? If the question is asked about, let's say, peasant movement, you can conclude by linking it with post-independent India. What did we do? Land reforms, green revolution, right? So that's how you will write it. Second and very important is personality related question. Personality related question. Any personality, you know, Ambedkar, Gandhi, Nehru, Bose, Tagore. Now, when the question is asked about personality, you have two ways to end the answer. First way is you can end by stating how do we remember them now. For example, if let's say a question is asked on Maulana Azad, so we can end by saying that thus commemorating his legacy as the first education minister, his birth anniversary is celebrated as National Education Day. Right? So we can do that, right? Or let's say if it's about Patel, you can end by saying that a statue of unity has been installed to commemorate his achievement as unifier of India, right? The second way you can end your answer in personality wala question is how we are implementing their vision, how the current government is implementing their vision. That's also the second way you can end your answer. For example, let's say if the question is asked, this question was asked, I believe, a year back. This question was asked. What was the difference between Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore in their approach towards education and nationalism? Right? So, in conclusion, we can mention that how the NEP or the National Education Policy is implementing the vision of both Tagore and Gandhi. Gandhi through vocational education, emphasis on vocational education, and Tagore through, schemes like Nidhi, AIM, right? Or, what we call as Atal innovation thing. So, ultimately, that's how you can end your answer, right? For example, if it's about, let's say, two leaders, you can mention, for example, Nehru and Gandhi. You can talk about how at the same level we are focusing on industrialization, independent foreign policy, which is, strategic autonomy, which was Nehru's vision, along with Gandhi's emphasis on many things, including Ram Rajya, right? So that's how you can end your answer. Ambedkar pe question hai, link it with recent statue that has been unveiled in Vijayawada, right? So that's how we can do it. Third is movement based questions. Movement based questions. So let's say कोई movement हो, स्वदेशी movement हो, revolutionary movement हो, quit India movement हो, 1857 revolt हो, तो यहाँ पे you can end your answer with consequence, either movement based or let's say if there is any colonial personality. For example, there was a question asked on Lord Curzon. तो ऐसे क्वेश्चनों में you end your answer with short term and long term consequence of the movement. Short term and long term consequence of the movement. ठीक है? For example, अगर क्वेश्चन आपका ये वाला क्वेश्चन आया था, to what extent did the role of moderates prepare a base for wider freedom movement? Comment. So conclusion में you mention that despite their weaknesses, they set a base, and it is because of their efforts that resulted in or they were replaced by what we call as extremists who advocated for more aggressive methods, and eventually it further paved way for the emergence of Mahatma Gandhi's mass movement. So basically what you will do is you will end by stating कि इसका consequence क्या हुआ, short term long term. Short term consequence क्या हुआ कि moderate movement के failure से extremist निकल के आए और extremist के failure से Gandhian movement आया, right? So this is the short term and long term consequence of this movement, moderate movement. Let's say the question is asked about 1857. वहां पे क्या करेंगे? वहां पे we will talk about the short term and long term consequence. Though the movement failed to achieve its main goal of liberating India, but it paved way for the emergence, or it paved way for the transfer of rule from East India Company to the British Crown, and finally it paved way in long run for emergence of Indian national movement. So that's how you will do it. ठीक है ना? So that's how you can write perfect conclusions in history without taking a lot of time, because time is very important. If you have predetermined templates for each and every subject and each and every dimension, it saves your time also, and it improves quality also. If you see a lot of my students who got ranked this year, they have been emphasizing on the templates that I have taught them. So it is these templates that I will be also teaching in the two programs, Nitya Pragati, Batch 3, where I'll have 40 sessions including a lot of them on answer writing, where I'll try to make you mains ready by December end. When I say mains ready, it means ensuring that you have personal notes and ensuring that you are expert in answer writing. So once you go towards the prelims mode, which again we will take care of that also from January. So it's a comprehensive program where we'll identify your gaps, structure plan for you, and ensure that you get a rank and you crack both prelims and mains. Similarly, mains test series is starting 2026. In this also, I have 20 lectures on answer writing along with Write Smart, test, live evaluation. So you have aspects of mentorship, you have aspects of my lectures, and you have aspects of Write Smart in this course. Okay? So and the details of these courses are there in the comment box. So I'll be back again with a new subject and a new template. So let's crack this year's mains. Thank you.